Part 36. Super God Undead Lord. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 351. Backstab. Yang Tian's combo was extremely coherent and smooth. As soon as he reached the back of Shen Yu, he stabbed him with his dagger, triggering the triple backstab effect of the title Low-Key Warrior at this moment. Yang Tian's burst was so high that he killed him instantly. However, Shen Yu did turn into white light and dissipated directly. It was obviously just a clone, because if it was the real body, after it died, there would be a corpse falling down first. Hiss. So strong. Seeing the scene in front of them, the audience around gasped. No one present was weak. They could see that Yang Tian just had bad luck and chose the wrong target. If he had better luck, he could have killed Shen Yu himself. And Yang Tian's combo was performed in a nearly desperate crisis. Too strong. I didn't expect Brother Shui to be so good at playing assassins. His awareness, positioning, and even his understanding of various assassin skills are far beyond my comparison. Xiao Fei was amazed and was stunned there. In his previous life, he was a god-level assassin with great potential. At present, he has reached the top 100 of the national server battle list, and he is quite complacent, but now after seeing Yang Tian's operation, he instantly feels that he is just a frog in the well. What a waste of talent. How great it would be if he also played an assassin. At this time, some assassin players of the Golden Thorn League all sighed. Hearing this, Huangmao sneered. Because of the different heights, he knows Yang Tian's true strength better than ordinary people. In his opinion, Yang Tian is almost omnipotent. Because of the skill of undead transformation, Yang Tian can transform into undead of various professions to fight, and he can exert all his strength to the limit. There is no profession more suitable for him than the undead master. The death of the twin clones made Shen Yu secretly shocked and felt a strong sense of crisis. At the same time, he also knew that now was the perfect opportunity for him to fight back. Cut the throat. Shen Yu suddenly turned around and used his Do Chi in seconds. The cold dagger cut through the air, pulling out a sharp red light, licking Yang Tian's throat like a poisonous snake's tongue. Shen Yu's attack was too fast, and Yang Tian had just finished the backstab. At this time, it was too late to simply move, unless he used the instant displacement skill of the flash, or used the undead transformation to turn into a steel cannon cart, and his body instantly ducked. But Yang Tian did not do that, but continued to use assassin skills to fight. Spinning stab. Yang Tian's body suddenly spun out, avoiding Shen Yu's throat cut, and at the same time rotated to Shen Yu's right side. Under the latter's shocked eyes, he cut through the Do Chi airflow and stabbed him. Spinning stab also has an instant displacement effect, but the displacement distance is too short, less than 1 yard, so it is not practical. But at this time, Yang Tian used this skill to hit a crucial blow. The game ended, but the scene was silent. Yang Tian is the master of the undead. He has too many skills and too many trump cards that are not used. He defeated Shen Yu, the leader of the assassins, with only the assassin profession and assassin skills. How terrible is his strength! The audience was horrified and had goosebumps all over their bodies when they thought of this. After a long time, the belated cheers rang out. Not only the Water Alliance army, but also the people of the Golden Thorn Alliance were generous with their cheers and praises. The Golden Thorn Alliance is mainly composed of assassins. Many of them love this profession and worship assassins. Although Yang Tian is not a real assassin profession, his strong strength as an assassin still won their respect. After glancing at Shen Yu, who had turned into a corpse and was lying on the ground motionless, Yang Tian cancelled the transformation state and nodded at Lan Yu. The latter understood and immediately asked Xiao Mao to use the resurrection technique to revive Shen Yu. Players who died in battle and were resurrected will not lose a level, but will only lose 20% of their current level of experience. Yang Tian won and achieved his goal, and because of the relationship with Lan Yu, there was no need to let Shenyu lose another level. After Shenyu was resurrected, his face was quite gloomy. After a moment, he led people to evacuate the island without saying a word. "Sorry, everyone, my brother is too stubborn and has caused trouble for everyone," Lan Yu said awkwardly after watching Shenyu and others leave. Hearing this, everyone immediately said that they didn't mind and started gossiping at the same time. After all, they finally knew that Shenyu and Lan Yu were actually siblings. Facing everyone's gossip, Lan Yu was also quite cooperative, and the atmosphere was good. The Water Alliance defeated the Golden Thorn Alliance and took over some islands originally occupied by the Golden Thorn Alliance, successfully becoming the third force in the national server. This news was soon discovered by the Demon God. The Water Alliance must move forward, and the Demon God cannot give up the second throne. The two armies had not yet engaged in battle, but the atmosphere in each of them was tense. After some preparation, Yang Tian and Huang Mao agreed to go to the beach to enjoy the breeze. The unruly sea breeze messed up Huang Mao's hair. If it were normal days, he would have carefully arranged it, as he always cared about his image, but at this moment he was a little absent-minded. He looked at the empty sea in front of him. It was obvious that the Demon God's commanding force was ahead. "We are finally meeting. In my impression, he seems to have never failed. I really want to see his expression after failure." Huang Mao suddenly spoke with a somewhat sarcastic smile on his face. The he mentioned was naturally Huang Yuxuan, also known as Xianji. "Zeus is too strong. The personal abilities of God's left hand, God's right hand, God's apple, are very strong, which makes Zeus the first force in the national server. Even with the current development of the Water Alliance, Yang Tian Huang Mao dare not attack Zeus rashly. Below Zeus is the Demon God, among whom there are many strong ones, such as Haoshan, Ziyan, Heavenly Demon, and Earth Demon, etc., but its commander Xianji is only a nurse and has almost no personal ability. Therefore, the Water Alliance has the ability to fight with it. And both sides secretly prepared at the same time. The tense atmosphere can be fully felt by being in it. Huang Mao has long wanted to fight and wanted to destroy the Demon God himself, but now that the opportunity has come, he is a little uneasy. From childhood to adulthood, Huang Yuxuan has been too perfect, too perfect. As a rich kid, he is not a dandy at all. He is gentle and elegant, well prepared, and always looks confident and calm. He is a perfect existence that is far beyond his peers without realizing it. Although Huang Mao is also very good, he is far inferior to the latter in character, temperament, and achievements. From childhood to adulthood, Huang Mao has always admired Huang Yuxuan, because he is proud to have such a brother. Until the age of adolescence, Huang Mao had a love affair, but he didn't expect to be poached by the elder brother he always respected. Being cheated by his own brother, I believe anyone would collapse. Super God Undead Lord. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 352. World Broadcasting, congratulations to Taegzu for its successful first anniversary. In the new year, we say farewell to the old and welcome the new. In order to ensure a good experience for all players, this system will be down for maintenance for 2 days. As the world broadcast rang, Yang Tian and Huang Mao were all startled, and Huang Mao breathed a sigh of relief. Before the battle, it would be good to give him 2 days to adjust his mentality. It's a rare break, let's have dinner together tonight. Yang Tian made an appointment with Huang Mao, Xiaofei, Lan Yu, and other real friends who live in the same city, and then went offline. In the evening of that day, Yang Tian had a dinner with all his friends at the hotel. While eating and drinking, the theme of the chat still revolved around the game of Taegzu. Brother Shui, this update has come out. The Sea of Fire and the Sea of Darkness have been weakened, Xiaofei said suddenly after taking a bite of the food. Oh. Why is it weakened? Hearing this, everyone raised questions, and some even took out their mobile phones to log on to the official website to check. Before the revision, Sea of Fire and Sea of Dark Fire had 1/100 magic damage and could critically hit. After the revision, Sea of Fire and Sea of Dark Fire dealt 1/1000 magic damage and could not critically hit, so they were almost eliminated. In addition, conflict settings have been added to both Sea of Fire and Sea of Darkness. The conflict setting is easy to understand. For example, if a person is frozen first and then stunned again, the two controls will conflict, making the previous control invalid, which means that the one will be stunned, and the previous one will be frozen. Will be automatically offset. It's the same when you get to the Sea of Fire. Before the revision, if 100 people unleashed a Sea of Fire, the burns would stack up and cause tons of damage. After the revision, no matter how many people release the Sea of Fire, only the strongest Sea of Fire will cause burns, and the rest will be ineffective. Of course, the nature of the Sea of Fire and the Sea of Dark Fire are different, and there will be no conflict between these two skills. In other words, an elemental mage and a necromancer team up, and the two release the Sea of Fire and the Sea of Dark Fire at the same time, and the damage is superimposed. After everyone understood, they couldn't help but focus on Yang Tian. Everyone knew that Yang Tian's Dark Sea of Fire was powerful and had played a key role in many battles. And this time the revision changed the Dark Fire Sea, which was undoubtedly very hurtful to him. It's okay. My Dark Sea of Fire comes with full TP effect. Even if the Dark Sea of Fire itself doesn't do much damage, it is still very useful as long as it can weaken the enemy target's dark resistance. Yang Tian smiled calmly. Seeing that Yang Tian's attitude was so casual and indifferent, everyone smacked their lips. You know, before the revision, your Dark Sea of Fire was able to kill people instantly, but now the skill percentage has been reduced, you can't critically hit, and the damage has been reduced by more than dozens of times. It is impossible to kill people at once. With such a huge weakening, you actually being indifferent is too good a state of mind, right? On the side, Huang Mao calmly took a sip of tea and said, looking at Taixu, the Sea of Fire and the Sea of Dark Fire are almost the two skills with the largest range. This skill is set to consume, and now regardless of Yang, oh my god, those mages who unleash dozens or hundreds of fire waves in team battles can kill people instantly. This really destroys the balance of the game. Is it natural that they should be cut? Yang Tian looked at Huang Mao, secretly praised, and said, yes, the Sea of Fire and the Sea of Dark Fire are destined to be cut. I am not surprised at all when this day comes. Hearing this, everyone thought carefully and couldn't help but nod secretly. Because it was one of their own, Yang Tian used the Sea of Dark Fire to instantly kill the enemy, and they would only feel happy, but if they think about it from their perspective, the damage of the Sea of Fire or the Sea of Dark Fire is too high, and it is indeed unbalanced. You too have guessed that the Sea of Fire will be cut off a long time ago, and you are so forward-looking. Isn't this too perverted? Xiao Fei stared at the two of them with admiration on his face. Yang Tian hurriedly took a sip of tea to hide his embarrassment. He has been born in 2 generations and has 5 years of gaming experience. Isn't it normal to know that this kind of thing? Huang Mao, on the other hand, actually guessed it, which shows that his understanding of the game is bottomless. In this revision, in addition to the severe weakening of the Sea of Fire and the Sea of Dark Fire, there are also several major changes. One is violent injury. In Taixu, the player's critical hit rate defaults to 0, and through some special equipment titles, the critical hit rate can be increased. When the critical hit rate reaches 100%, it defaults to full value, commonly known as absolute critical hit. Every attack can trigger a critical hit, except for skills that cannot produce critical hits, thus producing additional critical hit damage. There are no changes to the critical hit area, mainly critical damage, and a new conflict setting has been added. The player's critical damage defaults to twice the damage. For example, if the player's original damage is 10,000, after triggering a critical hit, he can deal 20,000 damage. Before the revision, critical damage could be superimposed infinitely. For example, Yang Tian had 7.8 times the terrifying critical damage. The original damage of 10,000 directly became 78,000. After the revision, there is a new conflict setting for critical damage, which cannot be superimposed infinitely, and only the maximum value is taken. For example, Yang Tian's Crit Master title increases critical damage by 150%. Bloodthirsty Demon King title increases critical damage by 30%. The effect of 9-piece 5 elements set increases critical damage by 500%. Coupled with the default 100% critical damage, the total is 780% critical damage. Of course, this was before the revision. After the revision, the player's default 100% critical damage is still valid, and only the additional critical damage will conflict. That is to say, Yang Tian only has 6 times the critical damage, and the increased critical damage from the titles Critical Hit Master and Bloodthirsty Demon King have lost their effects due to conflicts. The multiple damage of Taegzu mainly comes from critical damage, attribute strength, and fighting spirit. Attribute strength has attribute resistance and damage reduction. Fighting spirit also has fighting spirit and damage reduction. Only critical damage is treated as a favorite son, but this revision has also been greatly weakened. Obviously, the purpose of this system revision is to limit the player's burst. It is not aimed at one person or one profession, but to limit the explosive power of all output professions. The revision weakened the critical damage, and also strengthened the physical strength. Before the revision, in addition to obtaining 5 free attribute points each time the player upgrades, physical strength, intelligence, spirit, and agility are each add 1. After the revision, physical strength is add 10. In addition, all equipment that increases physical strength has been revised to increase the physical strength value. And physical strength corresponds to the life value HP, 1 physical strength equal 10 HP. With the increase of physical strength, the thickness of all players' lives has increased. This revision, limit burst, enhance life, and increase the difficulty of killing people in 1 second. This is very friendly to most players, and increases the balance and playability of the game. I am very upset. What I pursue as an assassin is the pleasure of killing people in 1 second. This revision limits burst and enhances life, which is simply an insult to our assassin profession. Xiao Fei raised his head and drank a glass of wine in one gulp, feeling quite heavy. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Super God Undead Lord. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 353. The most explosive profession in Taegzu is the assassin. The percentage damage of various skills of the assassin is ridiculously high, and the CD of the assassin's skills is slightly longer than that of other professions. This profession is said to pursue a set of one-shot kills. If one set cannot kill in 1 second, it will be very embarrassing, because the CD is slightly long, and the skin itself is fragile, even self-protection becomes a problem. And this revision, limiting the burst and increasing life, is the most unfriendly to the assassin. Seeing Xiaofei's somewhat lost look, Yang Tian couldn't help but comfort him. Don't be discouraged, just go all the way, sooner or later you will stand out. The biggest feature of the assassin is high burst. Don't give up the burst and stack life defense because of the version problem, then it will be useless. It's best to kill in 1 second. Even if you can't kill in 1 second, you have to dance on the edge of the knife and survive to the extreme. Over time, his awareness and positioning will improve accordingly. Yang Tian was an assassin in his previous life, and he came this way. And Xiaofei also has extremely high potential and talent. Yang Tian doesn't want him to fall. Although Xiao Fei is already a top 100 player in the national server rankings, to some extent, he has already made it, but Yang Tian believes that his upper limit is far more than that. After all, For a true powerhouse, the national server is just the starting point. Brother Shui, don't worry, I won't let you down. Xiao Fei nodded seriously. Sorry, everyone, I'm going out to answer a call. At this time, Huang Mao received a call and hurriedly got up and walked out. I'm a single dog, and I don't have any secrets. Is it necessary to go out to answer a call? After Huang Mao walked away, Yang Tian teased behind him, making everyone laugh. After a while, his cell phone rang. At first glance, it was Lu Yan calling from abroad. Well, I'm going out to answer a call too. In the playful eyes of everyone, Yang Tian stood up awkwardly and walked out. Hey, why are you free to call me today? Yang Tian smiled when the call was connected. Yang Tian, I have something to talk to you about. On the other side, Lu Yan's tone was quite serious. Yang Tian concentrated slightly and asked, what happened? Half a month ago, a Chinese awakener escaped from us, changed his identity, and smuggled back to China. This matter could be big or small. The pressure on our industry is far beyond that of ordinary people. In the past year, many people could not bear the pressure and collapsed and fled back to their own country. For such people, we will send someone to find them, sign a confidentiality agreement, and then let them go. But that guy is simply crazy. Just now, I received a complaint from the Chinese government. That person actually used his power as an awakener to kill innocent people and do whatever he wants. Lu Yan became more and more angry, so much so that she even cursed at the end. Yang Tian and Lu Yan are childhood sweethearts, and Yang Tian knows the latter's personality quite well. She has a calm personality and usually doesn't get angry. But now she is so angry, which shows that the awakener's actions have touched her bottom line. Another point is that the awakener is Chinese, and as a Chinese, she is even more ashamed. I know, leave this to me, Yang Tian said. Yang Tian agreed decisively, which made Lu Yan on the other end of the phone feel warm. After so many years, Yang Tian still knows her so well. Well, I just want to ask you for help, because the situation is urgent. It will take a lot of time for us to send someone over. It's really great that you are willing to help, thank you, Lu Yan said gratefully. Okay, it would be too polite for us to thank each other. Tell me where the incident happened, and can I kill someone? Yang Tian asked. First, ensure your own safety, this is the most important. Second, if you can, you'd better get rid of him, and I will be responsible for helping you clean up the mess. Lu Yan said, your identity is very special. No one knows your identity as an awakener except me. There is no need to expose it because of this incident. Well, Yang Tian nodded. The two of them have a tacit understanding. Some words don't need to be said explicitly, and the other party will understand the meaning. Yang Tian, be careful, the other party is from our brave war zone. If possible, I really don't want you to take risks. Finally, Lu Yan's tone revealed deep worry. The brave war zone is the awakened war zone, which is extremely mysterious. Only the world government and people in the circle know about it. If it weren't for Lu Yan, Yang Tian would not know this secret even if he lived 2 lives. The strength of the awakened is directly linked to the strength of the characters in the Taixi game. And the brave war zone, that is, the awakened war zone, is the biggest trump card of the world government to deal with anything that happens in the future. Every awakened is carefully selected and cultivated with all their efforts, including the Taixi data researched by the world government, which will also be directly provided to them so that they can grow better. It can be said that any awakened placed in other war zones is a first-class strongman. Don't worry, I will be fine, Yang Tian smiled confidently. The awakened are indeed very strong, but he is not weak either. Besides, that guy is a deserter, probably just one of the weaker ones among the many awakened ones. If you can't even deal with that kind of stuff, how can you talk about saving the world? It's better to die. After hanging up the phone, Yang Tian waited for a while, and immediately received a message. The message sent by Lu Yan contained the location of the incident, the photo of the awakener and his basic information. Zhao Dong, male, 30 years old, was born as a mercenary, and had no family and no ties. His strength was above average in the Brave War Zone. He was currently at level 112 and his occupation was a hidden occupation, bloodthirsty hunter. What a bastard! He obviously had above average strength, so why did he become a deserter? Yang Tian cursed inwardly. Being a deserter would be fine, but the key point was that Zhao Dong also used his strength as an awakener to kill innocent people. Yang Tian, who was also an awakener and had power, could not forgive this at all. Being ordinary is not a sin, but having power but using it for evil is a sin. Such people are even more disgusting than the Zerg. Yang Tian's heart sank, and murderous intent flashed in his eyes. He had experienced the end of the world in his previous life and understood very well the difficulty of people's survival. Zhao Dong, as a human being, did something even more hateful than the Zerg. He deserved to die. Yang Tian turned back to the front desk and quietly paid the bill, then walked out of the hotel quickly, ready to go to the scene to deal with Zhao Dong. At this time, he bumped into Huang Mao, who had just hung up the phone and was a little uneasy. "What's wrong?" Yang Tian asked. Huang Mao sighed and said, "I received a call from home saying that Huang Yuxuan will be the chef today and invite everyone to have a meal together." Super God Undead Lord. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 354. You can do it yourself. The other family was having dinner, so Yang Tian didn't want to interfere too much. He patted the yellow-haired man on the shoulder and left quickly. Yang Tian is an awakener. If he bursts out all his speed now, it will be faster than an ordinary plane. After a while, Yang Tian found a dark street corner with no one around, jumped up, and flew into the sky like a rocket. Looking down, there were red lights and green fires under him. Undead transformation, vampire count. After Yang Tian transformed, he spread his wings, stabilized his body in mid-air, and then flew out quickly. The place where Zhao Dong committed the crime was not in the city where Yang Tian was. Yang Tian flew for several hours before arriving at that city. Of course, Yang Tian now has a superhuman physique, and he can fly for several hours without breathing. It should be here. Late at night, Yang Tian stood proudly in the air, suddenly closed his eyes, and felt carefully. The awakened can sense the energy fluctuations emitted by living things, which Yang Tian calls qi. After Yang Tian sensed it, many weak qi suddenly came out from the city under his feet, which was obviously just the qi of ordinary people. Weak does not mean that those people are old, weak, sick, and disabled, but the awakened qi is too strong. In the eyes of the awakened, the qi of ordinary people is weak. Soon, Yang Tian found a strong qi from the vast weak qi. When the awakened use their strength, the qi on their bodies will be very strong, and they can even kill people with qi. Even if the awakened is still, the qi on their bodies is much stronger than that of ordinary people, so it is very easy to identify. It seems that is Zhao Dong. Yang Tian's eyes condensed and he swooped down directly. On the other side, in a private room of Donghao Hotel, a shirtless man sat on the table eating. The man had a resolute face, and his exposed upper body was muscular, looking very strong and full of masculinity. This person is Zhao Dong. At this moment, his eyes suddenly condensed, his hair stood up, and a powerful wave of air swept out from him, instantly overturning the wine table in front of him. As a deserter, and also committed many crimes, he was responsible for many lives, so he was naturally on guard against the awakening headquarters sending people to catch him. He always maintained a high level of vigilance, and now Yang Tian came over, which scared him immediately. Damn, they found me so quickly, it seems that I can't stay here, I have to go abroad quickly. Zhao Dong cursed, and immediately sensed the number of people coming from the other side, so as to make an escape plan. There is only one person? And the chi is not very strong, is this looking down on me? Zhao Dong. Zhao Dong suddenly calmed down, and the fear and heartache on his face disappeared, replaced by gloom and bloodthirstiness. Very good, I will let you know the price of despising me. Zhao Dong was not going to escape, but waited for someone to come. At this time, Yang Tian had cancelled the undead transformation, returned to the ground, and walked towards the Donghao Hotel. Not far in front of the hotel, he found a police car. Zhao Dong was responsible for many lives, so it was normal for police officers to watch him, but they were just following him. The government had also used police to fight, and after some sacrifices, they instantly realized that the other party was an awakened person who could not be punished by ordinary people, so they gave up decisively. They could only send police officers to keep an eye on his movements, and at the same time frantically complain to Lu Yan. In Yang Tian's view, following is pure nonsense. If an awakened person wants to leave, how can you ordinary people follow him? However, I came here today to get rid of Zhao Dong. Little brother, something happened in this hotel, and you are not allowed to enter now. When Yang Tian was about to enter the Donghao Hotel, a police officer immediately stopped him. Oh, then I'll change to another hotel. Yang Tian nodded, turned around and left, walked to a corner and transformed into a ghost assassin. After turning on stealth, he walked into the Donghao Hotel again. The awakened are different from the characters in Taixu. In reality, there is no passivity, and any skills are controlled by the will of the awakened. In other words, Yang Tian can control the appearance of undercurrents at will. In the absence of undercurrents, his stealth is also very useful. Zhao Dong slapped the hotel manager's face and disabled a group of security guards. This happened not long ago. The interior of Donghao Hotel was already in a mess, and no one was there. Yang Tian had locked Zhao Dong's aura, so he walked over and kicked open the door of his box. Yang Tian stood at the door and looked Zhao Dong in the eye. Young man, you are so brave. I, Zhao Dong, have at least medium-level strength in your place. You dare to come here alone. Do you know that this is not a game? I will kill you. The box was in a mess. Zhao Dong sat on a chair with a big horse and a golden knife, staring at Yang Tian and sneered. He didn't know that Yang Tian was a wild awakener, and thought that Yang Tian came from the awakener headquarters. You are not my opponent. Before I kill you, I have a few questions to ask you. First, why did you run away, and second, why did you kill these ordinary people? Yang Tian said indifferently. Super God Undead Lord. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 355. Arrogant boy, I don't know where you get your confidence from. Well, let me answer your question first. Why run away? Why kill people? Haha, you know it too, the world will be in chaos sooner or later. Compared to the unknown hero who sacrifices for the people, I would rather be a bad guy who will be infamous forever. In front of us awakened people, what is the difference between ordinary people and ants? Let me tell you, once people have power and taste the sweetness, their previous naive ideas will disappear. You will see, there will be more and more people like me in the future, especially after the whole nation awakens in 4 years. Do you think that human beings are the enemies, only those disgusting bugs? Don't joke, human nature is greedy, ambition and desire are endless. In that chaotic world without the constraints of law and morality, they will be completely exposed. How about it, kid? I have described the future scene for you. Let go of the psychological pressure and work with me. Don't worry, no one will condemn you in 4 years, then it will just be a matter of who has the bigger fist. Even, we can become idols in the minds of those little bad guys. Zhao Dong excitedly described his new ideal, and then he even invited Yang Tian. So that's it, you are really hopeless. Yang Tian's mind moved, and a circle of undercurrents swung under his feet. Seeing this, Zhao Dong shook his head and said, Young, with a strong sense of justice, so he lost his life in vain. After speaking, the bench under Zhao Dong suddenly exploded. Zhao Dong took out a dagger, and rushed forward towards Yang Tian. Yang Tian was motionless. "Ha, you are still too young. Are you scared?" Zhao Dong laughed wildly and stepped into the undercurrent. At this time, he felt his feet sinking into the mud and his movement speed was greatly reduced. Damn, what the hell is this? Zhao Dong was in a mess. Only then did he realize that he had underestimated Yang Tian. Yang Tian did not show any mercy. He took the opportunity to transform into a ghost assassin and cut his throat with a throat slash. Blood gushed out. Zhao Dong fell down with his eyes wide open, and died with his eyes wide open. Young? Don't joke. How can my experience be compared with yours? Glancing at the corpse under his feet, Yang Tian cancelled the transformation and said indifferently. Yang Tian had experienced the end of the world and had too much combat experience. In comparison, Zhao Dong was like a baby. In the previous battle, Zhao Dong was killed by a single blow, and his strength could not be exerted at all. A moment later, Yang Tian squatted down in front of Zhao Dong's body and used his qi to probe the other party's top of the head. After a while, Yang Tian sensed the other party's soul sea of consciousness, where Zhao Dong's item space was. Zhao Dong was a level 112 master in the Brave War Zone. His equipment and collections must be valuable. Yang Tian had already wiped out Zhao Dong, and he would no longer exist from now on. It would be a waste to leave those things alone, so Yang Tian took them. In reality, there are no levels and attributes. Zhao Dong has a lot of collections, and Yang Tian can't tell whether they are good or bad, but he can tell them one by one when he brings them into the game next time. After collecting the things, Yang Tian found his pet space again. As soon as Yang Tian's consciousness invaded, he heard fierce beast roars. Zhao Dong is not an assassin, but a hunter, a bloodthirsty hunter. He has a total of 7 pets, and each of them is extraordinary, at least above the Lord. In reality, Yang Tian certainly can't see the rank of those pets, but he can tell from the aura emitted by the other party. The first 4 have similar energy to the Thunder Leopard, and they should all be lords. The 2 tigers behind are stronger, and they should be king beasts. The last Tang snake seems to be a royal beast war pet. Yang Tian distinguished them one by one and became interested in the Tang snake. Coincidentally, he has 7 pet spaces, of which Xianyu and Long Alice, Dwarf King Carrie, Dr. Edith's residual soul, 3/4, Snow Wolf King Ziobai, and Thunder Leopard, 6 have been occupied, and there is just 1 position left. Tang snake is a living thing with its own consciousness. Yang Tian can directly accept Zhao Dong's equipment and collection, but he can't do that to the Tang snake. He can only find a way to force it out first, and then use force to force it to surrender. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. 7 summoning arrays suddenly appeared, and before Yang Tian could take any action, Zhao Dong's 7 pets ran out on their own initiative. Zhao Dong has truly died, and the master-servant contract has disappeared, so those pets can naturally escape. Strange, isn't this guy supposed to never die? Why did he die today? Tang snake, which has wings, stood in mid-air. It glanced at Zhao Dong's body below and said in surprise. Yeah, this guy died many times before, and got up again in a blink of an eye, but this time he seems to be really dead. Said 2 tigers below. Obviously, Tang snake and other beasts are all lives in the world of Taixu, where Zhao Dong is just a player. No matter how many times he dies, he will only lose level and can be resurrected infinitely. But this is the real world, and Tang snake and other beasts don't seem to have figured out the situation yet. Don't guess, this world is different from your world. No matter who dies, it is impossible to get up again. Of course, this includes you. I'll give you a chance. If you don't want to die, surrender to me. Yang Tian looked at Tang snake and other beasts and said. Haha, little kid, You are so arrogant. Do you know that this guy is a hunter, and his strength mainly comes from us? Tang Snake said disdainfully. If it weren't for him underestimating the enemy and not calling us out, do you think you can still be alive? Because of the existence of Tang Shi, the other 6 beasts also took advantage of the power of others and sneered at Yang Tian. Just a royal beast, you don't know how high the sky is and how deep the earth is. Yang Tian casually sent Qian Yuan Long Alice and the dwarf king Carry out. The 3 servants are all emperors, among which Carry is the strongest, the world emperor. When Yang Tian's lineup appeared, Tang Shi and other beasts were all shocked. Tang Shi was better, but the other 6 beasts were afraid and wanted to escape. This is reality. If they are allowed to escape, it will inevitably cause chaos. Yang Tian naturally cannot let them escape, so he ordered the 3 servants, kill these guys quickly. The sky collapsed and the earth cracked. Carry Longer used a big move at the same time, shattering the ground, causing a shockwave to stir up rocks, and soon a luxurious private room was in a mess and turned into ruins. Carry Longer was too powerful. Their combat power was so high that the Lord's life could not bear it at all. The 2 of them attacked together, and the 4 Lord's pets died instantly. The Tang Snake was in the air, so it was not directly hurt, but was hit by the flying rocks and suffered some minor injuries. The other 2 Tiger King beasts were also seriously injured, but they were in good condition. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Super God Undead Lord. Author, Ba Wang Shi-san. Chapter 356. Seeing this, Tang Shi couldn't help but ponder inwardly. Although it thought it was powerful, 3 of the 4 opponents were at the same level as it. Yang Tian, who seemed to be the weakest, was the boss of the 3, so it had to be on guard. Forget it, if you have a green mountain, you will not be afraid of firewood. This emperor has the advantage of flying that they don't have. It's better to take the opportunity to escape. Tang Shi has a strong personality. Although it is Zhao Dong's war pet, it doesn't recognize it in its heart. So when Zhao Dong was killed, it wanted to save its own life more than revenge. After some thinking, Tang Shi twisted its body violently and whipped Yang Tian and others below with its long tail. Its power was so great that it set off a violent wind. Yang Tian and others naturally dodged. However, Tang Shi only made a feint and then turned around and fled. Boom! Compared with its strong body, the thick and solid wall was as brittle as glass. It was smashed into pieces in an instant, revealing a big hole. The Tang Snake also quickly swooped out and fled into the vast night sky. Although it was late at night, the night in the city was not quiet, but rather bustling with red lights and green wine. The Tang Snake was a huge creature, a giant python with wings. Such a form was really a legendary monster for ordinary modern people, and it broke out of the building, causing a huge commotion. People heard the sound and screamed in fear. Some people with big nerves complained, "Is this a film of Ultraman? Is it a monster?" The police officers under the restaurant were also scared and collapsed to the ground, sweating profusely. They were not insiders. Because of the special profession, they had a vague understanding of the awakened, but not in detail. At this moment, they were shocked to find that the Tang Snake appeared in the place where they were watching, and almost made them die gloriously, and they were so scared that their souls were gone. Master Tang. Inside the restaurant, the 2 tiger-headed king beasts saw the Tang Snake escape and couldn't help but exclaimed. They were already intelligent, and they were naturally very clear about the situation in front of them. Even the Tang Snake had escaped, so they were afraid that they would have no choice but to die. When they thought of this, they could not help but lose all hope. At this time, Carrie stepped forward and released the powerful aura of the Emperor of the world. "Submit obediently and become my war pet, otherwise you will die," Carrie said forcefully. He knew that Yang Tian was not interested in the king beast, so he took the initiative. Hearing this, the two tiger-headed king beasts immediately knelt down and expressed their willingness to surrender. Carrie smiled with satisfaction and immediately took the two beasts as war pets. Yang Tian walked to the front of the cave, looked down, and found that rows of police cars had arrived, and the scene was in chaos. He could even hear some people crying in despair. For this world, the Tang snake is a monster that should not appear. Since it has appeared, it will naturally cause panic among people. However, Yang Tian was not too worried about this. Since this kind of thing has happened, I believe the government will definitely step in to suppress it. All he can do is to catch up with it as soon as possible to subdue or kill Tang snake, so as to prevent it from causing greater damage to the world. Yang Tian waved his hand, and a raging black flame suddenly appeared on the bodies of Zhao Dong and his four lords' pets. Reality is different from games after all. In reality, the awakened can better control various skills. For example, at the moment, Yang Tian's dark sea of fire only burns corpses and does not hurt other external objects. Obviously, Yang Tian's black flame is many times stronger than ordinary flames in reality. In just a few seconds, those corpses disappeared without a trace. Under Yang Tian's perception, he found that many police officers had climbed up the restaurant and rushed here, so he did not hesitate and hurriedly took back Longer and others. At the same time, he turned into a ghost assassin, sneaked down the hole, and chased in the direction of Tang Snake's escape. Tang Snake is a royal beast with an unparalleled aura. Even without deliberately sensing, Yang Tian could firmly lock its position. It seems that the boy did not lie to me. This is indeed another world. The life breath here is too weak. I really don't know how people here survive. In the night sky, Tang Snake sighed while flying. Very good, in that world, although I am a hegemon, I am nothing in front of the real strong, but here, I can fully display my ambitions and dominate the world. Tang Snake laughed excitedly, and the sound seemed particularly thorough in the silent night sky. Some beasts in reality trembled when they heard it. But before that, I have to get rid of that boy and find a place to stay, Tang Snake said to himself. As strong as it is, it can naturally sense that Yang Tian is chasing after it, but it is not worried because its speed is obviously faster than the latter. Yang Tian is chasing after him. When the dawn broke, the sun shone brightly, and then it gradually turned into dusk. Yang Tian had been chasing for who knows how many hours, and had already crossed the border and arrived in an unknown primeval forest. Even though Yang Tian had a superhuman physique, he was now a little out of breath, and his speed also slowed down. In his perception, the speed of Tang Snake did not slow down at all. It is worthy of being a royal beast, and its physical strength is really abnormal, Yang Tian sighed. Although he had driven Tang Snake out of China, then at least, Tang Snake's killing would not affect Chinese compatriots, but Yang Tian did not think of giving up. Yang Tian stopped to take a short break, but suddenly found a wild boar as strong as a bull attacking him. Its breath was much stronger than that of an ordinary person. After all, it was a primeval forest, so it was not surprising that such a beast could be bred. Of course, in Yang Tian's eyes, it was still as weak as an ant, and he shot it with a bone spear. I've been chasing for so long, and I'm hungry. Yang Tian looked at the wild boar corpse and smiled slightly. With his current physique, it's okay to not eat or drink for a few days, but under the hard work, physical strength is lost, so eating something to replenish energy is not bad. In reality, Yang Tian can cast black flames at will. But black flames are not fire in essence, but darkness, which has a corrosive effect. Therefore, grilling meat with black flames will only burn the meat. In the end, Yang Tian still used a lighter to make a fire, grilling meat, and lighting a cigarette while pondering. That Tang Snake is faster than me and stronger than me. Under normal circumstances, I can't catch up with him. Yang Tian thought to himself, in this case, I can only hide my breath and approach quietly before it notices. All living things have energy fluctuations, such as people, cats, and dogs, which is called qi. Generally speaking, living things cannot hide their breath, unless they die, the energy dissipates, and naturally they can't produce qi. The same is true for Yang Tian. Of course, he doesn't need to hide his breath completely, he just needs to weaken his breath to make Tang Snake relax his vigilance. Yang Tian is strong, Tang Snake feels threatened, and will choose to escape. In other words, if Yang Tian is weak, then Tang Snake still has a reason to escape. Super God Undead Lord. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 357. Yang Tian knew that if he remained still, he could suppress the aura to a great extent. Although this aura was still much stronger than that of an ordinary person, it was not enough to attract the attention of the royal beast. Yang Tian wanted this effect. He approached quietly without Tang Snake knowing, and then suppressed it with force. If the awakened person is hungry, he will eat a lot if he really lets go of his belly. Yang Tian ate most of a roasted wild boar meat before setting off again. This time he summoned the thunder leopard to travel. Hey, after chasing this emperor for a day and a night, did that kid finally give up? Tang Snake suddenly couldn't feel Yang Tian's aura, smiled contemptuously, and despised the laziness of humans in his heart. After confirming that there was no danger, Tang Snake gradually relaxed and landed in the primeval forest, ready to catch wild beasts for a feast. The ecological environment of this primeval forest is really too good, and the survival of the fittest, the beasts in it are particularly strong, and the aura is not weak. Tang Shi could even sense that there were several overlords in this forest with auras no less powerful than the lords. That was why Yang Tian's thunder leopard did not arouse its vigilance at all. Because in its view, even the life of the lord was as weak as an ant and only fit to be its delicious meal. Tang Shi easily hunted several giant lizards and swallowed them whole, and the giant lizards, which were originally in the middle and upper reaches of the food chain in this primitive forest, did not dare to resist Tang Shi at all and could only tremble and serve as its food. Haha, the creatures in this world are too weak. Tang Shi, do not expect to become the world overlord, but it is also very easy to occupy an area and dominate it. Tang Shi began to outline a beautiful blueprint for the future and relaxed. Because it had a full meal and there was no threat, it actually lay on the ground and took a nap. A few hours later in the night, Yang Tian rode the thunder leopard and came quietly. Looking at the sleeping Tang Shi, he couldn't help but sneer. Yang Tian took back his mount, sent Qian Yuan Longer and the other two, and then lit a torch and threw it on Tang Snake. Ordinary torches naturally would not cause much harm to Tang Snake. Tang Snake only felt a slight burning pain and woke up. Tang Snake was quite angry when he was woken up in his sleep, thinking that it was some blind little beast that woke him up. But when he sensed the breath of Yang Tian and others, he screamed suddenly. It's impossible. You approached me without my noticing. Tang Snake was shocked and confused. You are too lax. Yang Tian smiled faintly and said, let me ask you again, do you choose to surrender or choose to die? This is your last chance. After speaking, Qian Yuan Longer and the dwarf King Carry rushed forward from the left and right. Together with Yang Tian, they formed a triangle to surround Tang Snake. As for Alice, she stood at the back. Although she was already a level 100 emperor, she was only a priest, and her limited combat power could not pose a threat to Tang Shi. If she rushed forward, it would be dangerous. Standing behind could protect Yang Tian and the other two, and she could be regarded as the most solid backing. Seeing this, Tang Shi snorted coldly and said, so what if you sneaked over here? With my speed, who among you can match it? Tang Shi sneered, flapped his wings and flew directly into the air. Qian Yuan Longer let out a delicate cry, and a faint dragon roar sounded. The next moment, Qian Yuan Longer had turned into a dragon girl. She was still in human form, with two dragon horns on her forehead and a slender dragon tail on her tail vertebrae. Under the moonlight, the golden dragon scales on her body shone brightly. The slender and powerful dragon tail slapped the ground, causing the ground to explode and dust to fly. And Xian Yuan Longer took advantage of this recoil force to fly higher in the sky and cut Tang Shi down with a sword. With a loud bang, the Tang snake fell to the ground. Its left wing was damaged and blood was flowing. It was obviously seriously injured. More importantly, its wings were injured. Even if it took off again, it might not have the high speed it had before. Xian Yuan Longer has the blood of the dragon. Its blood skill, Dragon Transformation, doubles all attributes in the game. Not only strength and physical strength, but also attribute strength, armor penetration, critical strike, etc. The real combat power can be multiplied several times within 1 minute. In reality, Xian Yuan Longer's strength has also increased several times, and her aura is so strong that she can be called the first person under the Spirit King. The extreme burst of 1 minute will have great side effects afterwards, and Xian Yuan Longer has a speed that exceeds Tang Snake in a short period of time. It is normal for it to intercept it. Xian Yuan Longer transformed into a dragon girl and had the power of the dragon. This majesty seemed to have a natural suppression on Tang Snake. At this time, Xian Yuan Longer cut it and threatened it closely, making it tremble. If it were not for the fact that it was a royal beast with extraordinary strength, it would have crawled on the ground and begged for mercy. What do you think, Tang Snake? Have you made a decision? Now that Tang Snake was trapped, Yang Tian could not help but sneer and asked. I am willing to surrender. Tang Snake struggled for a while and finally lowered his head. Although it was brave, it was actually a bully, otherwise it would not have been taken in as a war pet by Zhao Dong. Now, Yang Tian was far superior to Zhao Dong in both strength and power, and with Xian Yuan Longer's silent threat, how could it not surrender? After a while, Tang Snake took the initiative to conclude a master-servant contract with Yang Tian. Naturally, Yang Tian was the master and it was the servant. At this point, Yang Tian's 7 pet spaces were finally filled. Xiao Jin's soul is missing. If I want to revive it, I must first upgrade to level 120 and revive Drive Edith. By then, I will be the Spirit King, so I can go to the Beast King Valley to open the 8th pet space. Yang Tian pondered and made some arrangements for the future. After subduing Tang Snake, Yang Tian was naturally ready to go back. This place is already outside the borders of China. Even if Yang Tian runs back at full speed, it will take at least a day and a night. However, Yang Tian had already set up a teleportation array in his residence. After taking Xian Yuan Longer and others back again, Yang Tian returned to his home in an instant. It was late at night. While washing up, Yang Tian called Lu Yan and told her what happened in the past 2 days. After that, Yang Tian fell asleep. At 8 o'clock the next morning, Taixu was launched on time, and Yang Tian was the first to log in. After half an hour of gathering the troops, Yang Tian Huangmao led them to attack the island occupied by the Demon God Alliance, and they won the battle successfully, only because Suanj and Xian were not there. After the Demon God was defeated, the 2 brothers Tianmo and Daimo left with some of their people, while Haoshan led the other part to surrender to the Water Alliance. To be precise, they should have surrendered to Huangmao. Super God Undead Lord. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 358. Huangmao was stunned. Haoshan said, "This is the last order of the boss, and your current strength, young Master Long, has been recognized by us." Huangmao was stunned, his mind was full of question marks, he really didn't know what Huang Yuxuan was doing. Seeing Huangmao's unbelievable expression, Haoshan was a little surprised and said, "Don't you know? Although your Huang family is a wealthy family, your parents are old, and the family's finances are all paid by the boss, and he has been seriously ill for a long time, and he has been dealing with the 2 brothers of the demon for a long time, which is even more exhausting. As his younger brother, you had no ambition in the early days, and you were only interested in beauty. The boss had no choice but to encourage you in this way. Now that things have come to this, I thought he had told you the truth a long time ago, but it seems that he didn't. After Haoshan finished speaking, Huang Mao was like being struck by lightning, and he was stunned. Huang Mao couldn't believe that his brother had taken away his girlfriend, and he had found 10,000 reasons for Huang Yuxuan. But no matter what, he couldn't stop the sadness and anger in his heart. After a while, he only hated Huang Yuxuan. But he didn't expect that there was such a hidden secret. Ha ha, ha ha ha. As if he couldn't accept it, Huang Mao broke down and laughed crazily, with 2 lines of hot tears rolling down. On the night of the maintenance, he received a call from home, saying that Chef Huang Yuxuan asked his family to have a long-lost reunion dinner together. Of course, he didn't go. During this period, his family called many times to urge him, and even Huang Yuxuan called him personally, but he felt annoyed and turned off his phone directly. Now thinking back, he felt like a knife was twisting his heart. He is seriously ill? Ha, he is really ill. Self-righteous. Even if I have no ambition, so what? Brothers are at odds, does he have to motivate me like this? Huang Mao screamed. At this point, he no longer hates Huang Yuxuan, but he is extremely angry about Huang Yuxuan's self-assertion, so much so that he loses his temper and roars. People are different, and everyone has different ideas. Some people love deeply, always preconceived, and do things that they think are good for you, without caring about the feelings of the person involved. This kind of situation often occurs when elders show their love for the younger generation. Huang Mao was obviously very unconvinced, but he had to admit that he had indeed grown up after this incident. After venting, Huang Mao hurriedly logged off. Although he was angry at Huang Yuxuan's self-assertion, Huang Mao also understood that the other party was doing it for his own good. When the hatred disappeared, he kept thinking back to his elder brother's love and pampering for him. After all, they are brothers, and blood is thicker than water. The other party was seriously ill, but he knew nothing about it, and he held a grudge against the other party, and he was also very sad and self-blaming. At that moment, he contacted his parents and went straight to the hospital. On the other side, Haoshan nodded to Yang Tian, "Brother Shui, I have heard of your name for a long time. I, Haoshan, feel honored to work under you and Long Xiao." Haoshan's eyes were sincere, and the strong men under his command looked at Yang Tian with admiration. This shows that Yang Tian's strength really convinced them. Yeah. Yang Tian also nodded. Haoshan was Xianji's most respected person, and he also admired him. But now it was more important to deal with Huang Mao's matter. He said, "That kid should go to the hospital." "Haoshan, you should know which hospital it is, right?" "Of course I know. If the boss hadn't insisted on asking me to fight you, I wouldn't be here now, but would be with him in the hospital. I believe that with the boss's perseverance, he will definitely get through this difficult time," Haoshan said seriously. However, having said that, he knew that Huang Yuxuan was in the late stage of lung cancer, and he always insisted on not going for treatment, which made his body weaker and weaker. In this case, even if he was lucky enough to survive this operation, he probably wouldn't live long. However, no matter how serious the illness was in reality, it would not show up in the game. Because of this, Huang Yuxuan could hide it from many people, including Huang Mao. Even the second and third in command of the demon god, the heavenly demon and the earth demon, they only knew about it in the past 2 days. Otherwise, with their personalities, they would have contacted the people above and sat on the throne of rule. "Well, let's go to the hospital now." Yang Tian asked for the address of the hospital, gave an order, and then went offline directly. Hospital. Huang Yuxuan was lying on the bed in a hospital gown, looking pale, without any of the high spirits in the game. The operation seemed to have not yet been carried out. On the side, Huang Yuxuan's parents and a beautiful woman were taking care of him carefully. Seeing him so sick and without any of his former spirit, his mother shed tears silently. Although his father was strong and resolute, his face was solemn, showing great concern. It seemed that because of the infection of the atmosphere, tears flashed in the eyes of the beautiful woman. She was Ziyan. "Mom and Dad, I want to talk to Ziyan alone." Huang Yuxuan forced a smile and said weakly. The two elders nodded repeatedly, walked out of the ward and gently closed the door. "Ziyan, I really made things difficult for you this time. I am ashamed. I feel more sorry for you than that boy," Huang Yuxuan said apologetically. Of course, he and Ziyan were just playing a show. But it was really too cruel to let a girl play such a play. She loved the other person deeply, but she could only be heartless. In the past 6 months, Ziyan had nightmares almost every day, and she was confused. Whenever she thought of Huang Mao's sad and desperate expression, she felt worse than death. Huang Mao could still curse and roar, and then vent, but she knew everything, but she could only endure and pretend, and was heartbroken. Because she had lied to him for too long, she didn't dare to face Huang Mao anymore. In fact, she had already made up her mind. No matter whether Huang Yuxuan's operation was successful or not, she would leave and forget Huang Mao. "I don't regret it. Xiaolong has indeed grown up and become more like a man. Ziyan now only hopes that you can recover as soon as possible, and you two brothers can put aside your past grudges," Ziyan said firmly, but her tears did not stop. Huang Yuxuan was startled. He felt something and coughed violently, and even coughed up blood. Ziyan was startled and wiped it for him and prepared to call a doctor. Huang Yuxuan had no time to take care of himself at this time. He said anxiously, "Ziyan, you don't want to leave Xiaolong, do you? If so, I won't be at peace even if I die." Huang Yuxuan was extremely panicked. He has always been arrogant, calm, and wise, but for the first time in his life, he felt regret. At this point, he may have seen through life and death, but he doesn't want to be a sinner. Under his control, everything is under his control now. He is only relieved to see Xiaolong's growth. Although he knows that Xiaolong will still blame him, he doesn't care. He has been prepared to bear everything. But if Xiaolong and Ziyan can't be together in the end, he will regret it. "Ziyan, don't think too much. Xiaolong will know the truth soon. With his character, he will definitely not blame you. Even if Brother Xian begs you again, don't leave, stay," Huang Yuxuan pleaded. If Haoshan and others saw him like this, they would probably cry. How can you beg for mercy when you are so handsome? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Super God Undead Lord. Author, Ba Wang Shi-san. Chapter 359. Ziyan's heart trembled. Huang Yuxuan was about to undergo surgery. She was afraid that her answer would affect the other party's mentality and cause an irreversible tragedy. "Brother Xian, I promise not to leave. Don't say anything, just prepare for the surgery, I believe you can get through it," Ziyan replied in tears. Huang Yuxuan breathed a sigh of relief, lay down again, and smiled weakly, "Then I feel relieved." At this time, Yang Tian arrived in front of the ward before Huang Mao, and met the two elders who were pacing outside the room. After all, Yang Tian is an awakener. If he exerts the maximum speed, he is faster than an ordinary plane. So even if Huang Mao goes first, he will still arrive first. He came so anxiously, naturally wanting to help Huang Yuxuan. After all, the other party is his good brother's brother. "Uncle and aunt, I am Xiaolong's friend," Yang Tian greeted the two elders. The two old people in front of him are older than his parents and have shown their old age. After all, although he is the same age as Huang Mao, Huang Yuxuan is several years older than the two of them. Where is he? What a jerk. His brother is critically ill and is about to undergo the most critical operation. As a younger brother, he has never been able to find anyone, but he just learned the news. The old man was impatient. "Old man, Xiaolong is wrong, why are you so mean to him?" Although the aunt's eyes were red and swollen, and she had already cried into tears, she was still calm and rational, and couldn't help but criticize her old man. "Hey," the old man sighed and turned his head away irritably. Seeing this, the aunt smiled helplessly at Yang Tian and apologized. Yang Tian immediately shook his head. The old man was also emotional, so he didn't blame the old man's attitude. But he smiled secretly. This old man and Huang Mao Huang Yuxuan have the same temper, both are so stubborn. After greeting the two elders, Yang Tian walked into Huang Yuxuan's ward with a basket of flowers. At this moment, he bumped into Ziyan, who was walking out with red eyes. The two sides had met many times in the game, so they knew each other. Seeing Yang Tian coming, Ziyan trembled slightly and said, "He's here." The he she was referring to was naturally Huang Mao. "Oh, unfortunately, I got there first." Yang Tian smiled awkwardly. Hearing this, Ziyan actually breathed a sigh of relief and then hurried away. Her attitude puzzled Yang Tian, and he shrugged and sighed, "Hey, at this point, there should be no misunderstandings and contradictions between the couple. Shouldn't they be eager to meet each other to express their lovesickness? Why does she seem a little afraid to see Huang Mao? Ziyan is too sensitive. Maybe she is too afraid to face it because she hurt Xiaolong too deeply. Alas, it's all my fault." Huang Yuxuan replied with a bitter smile. Yang Tian nodded, put the flower basket away, closed the door, and looked at Huang Yuxuan on the bed. "Oh, I didn't expect you to come to see me. I'm really relieved that Xiaolong has a friend like you." Huang Yuxuan smiled first. Yang Tian smiled. He couldn't really hate the man in front of him. Although the other party's conceited behavior once made Huang Mao collapse and despair, it must be said that he really cared about Huang Mao and was willing to sacrifice his reputation for this. After all, it must be shameful for him to steal his younger brother's girlfriend. Although it was just a casual act, outsiders would not think so. He must have received some criticism along the way. Such a person can indeed be called a respectable brother. "Since you are Huang Mao's elder brother, I will also call you Brother Xian. I came here this time to help you," Yang Tian suddenly said. Huang Yuxuan smiled and said, "At this point, I have completed my mission and have no regrets in death. Although I don't need your help, I still thank you. Also, since you are willing to call me Brother Xian, it seems that you and Huang Mao are true friends. I hope you can work together and make a name for yourself in the future." "What if I say I can save your life?" Yang Tian said with a smile. Huang Yuxuan was stunned, and then laughed, "This is impossible. I am already in the late stage of lung cancer. Even if I am lucky enough to succeed in the operation this time, I can only extend my life by 1 or 2 years at most." Yang Tian said with a smile, "The world is so big that there is no such thing as impossible." After speaking, Yang Tian directly used his best undead transformation and turned into a skeleton warrior. "Hiss." Huang Yuxuan took a breath and pointed at Yang Tian, unable to speak. "Who are you?" Huang Yuxuan exclaimed, even though he has now seen through life and death, as well as all mundane matters. A dying person's heart is as calm as water, but he was still shocked to see Yang Tian suddenly turned into a skeleton. "Awakener." Yang Tian grinned with his big skeleton mouth, and then cut to the chase, telling Huang Yuxuan some secrets of the Awakeners. Are you saying that 4 years later, the alien Zerg will come to attack the Earth? This is simply a fantasy. If I hadn't seen your changes with my own eyes, I would never believe it." Huang Yuxuan was like being struck by 5 thunderbolts, and was burnt on the outside and tender on the inside. Yang Tian smiled and continued, "As you can see, we Awakeners are closely connected with Taixu, and I have the strength and means of muddy water in the game. You are in the late stage of cancer. In layman's terms, the cells mutate into cancer cells and continue to destroy your body, so that you are so weak now. From the perspective of the game, your blood tank is running out and your life is hanging by a thread. I really can't remove the cancer cells in your body, but I can fill your blood tank and make you healthy again, Yang Tian said continuously. Of course, he doesn't have healing skills, but Alice does. He can summon Alice to heal Huang Yuxuan. In fact, as a royal priest, Alice has the skill of resurrection. But resurrection is not possible in reality. Life in reality is extremely precious. If you die, you are really dead. Yang Tian experienced the end of the world in his previous life, so he certainly knew this. Otherwise, he would not have rushed to the universe insect star in despair for revenge because of the tragic death of his parents in his previous life. Because I can't eliminate cancer cells, my method is actually a temporary solution. But it will make you regain a healthy body and make your chemotherapy success rate as high as 100%, Yang Tian said. Ye Huang Yuxuan nodded. Chemotherapy is extremely painful and a double-edged sword. It destroys the body, but it can also kill most of the cancer cells. If he is in his current state, it is hard to say whether he can withstand chemotherapy. With Yang Tian's help, he can successfully go through chemotherapy and have a healthy body, which can at least allow him to live 10 more years. Although in the future, cancer cells may grow again and destroy his body again. But he is already very satisfied with being resurrected. Moreover, the boy in front of him has magical powers, and one day in the future he may be able to completely cure his cancer. Super God Undead Lord. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 360. Seeing Yang Tian this time, Huang Yuxuan felt dreamy. Now he also believes that maybe nothing is impossible in this world. Brother Xian, before the alien Zerg comes, my status as an awakened person is still a secret. I hope you can keep it a secret for me, Yang Tian said cautiously. Huang Yuxuan nodded. Now there is no misunderstanding between everyone, but because of Huang Mao's relationship, they have become closer. Don't even Xiao Long know about this? Huang Yuxuan asked. Well, so what if I tell him? It will only cause one more person to worry, Yang Tian sighed. Huang Yuxuan nodded again, agreeing with Yang Tian's idea. Now that he knew this, he instantly felt a lot of pressure and worried about the future all the time. Telling one more person will only cause one more person to worry. Anyway, when the Zerg invades in 4 years and the whole nation awakens, everyone will know all this, even if they don't want to know. It won't be too late. I'll have someone treat you right away. Yang Tian waved his hand and dispatched Alice. After Yang Tian gave a simple explanation, Alice nodded and released a soft ball of holy light to cover Huang Yuxuan and heal him. I saw that Huang Yuxuan's pale and weak face regained health and vitality instantly. After a while, Huang Yuxuan lost his decadence and became radiant. Of course, he is only full of energy and blood now, and the root cause of the disease has not been eliminated. The cancer cells in his body are still wreaking havoc on his body, making him feel a dull pain and still feel very uncomfortable. But compared to before, it was 10,000 times better. Yang Tian, thank you this time. I never thought that I, Huang Yuxuan, could save my life. Huang Yuxuan sighed. He is indeed no ordinary person. Not only did he accept facts that ordinary people could not accept in a short period of time, he also regained his previous self-confidence. Yang Tian nodded and said, I think your operation will start soon. I'll go out first. After speaking, Yang Tian took back Alice, cancelled the undead transformation, and walked out of the ward. After a while, Huang Yuxuan was sent to the operating room under the nervous support of his 2 elders. Then, Huang Mishuangro, Xiaofei Haoshan and others came one after another. Huang Mao had not seen his parents for almost 2 years, and suddenly realized that his parents were much older. He couldn't help but knelt down, shed tears, and secretly sighed that he was unfilial. Wang's mother felt sorry for her little son, so there was no need to say more. When the old father, who was always stern and unsmiling, saw him kneeling down, his eyes turned slightly red, and he could no longer utter any scolding words. Xiaolong, get up quickly. I can't really blame you for this. I can only say that Yuxuan was destined for this fate. Huang Mu shed tears and stood up to help Huang Mao. Huang Mao did not stand up, but knelt down to the operating room again. When all the misunderstandings were resolved, he no longer had any resentment towards Huang Yuxuan, only concern for his brother. He already knew the seriousness of Huang Yuxuan's condition on the way here, and he was really afraid that he would not see his eldest brother for the last time. Seeing his painful look, Yang Tian shook his head and sighed secretly. He wanted to tell him that Huang Yuxuan was fine, but he couldn't tell him. So Yang Tian could only look away, keeping his eyes out of sight. After an unknown amount of time, the doctor and several nurses pushed Huang Yuxuan out and congratulated him. Naturally, Huang Xiaolong's family burst into tears of joy and leaned over to greet Huang Yuxuan. At this time, Huang Yuxuan became very weak again, but Yang Tian knew that the other party was no longer seriously injured. The next step was Huang Mao's own time. Yang Tian had no chance to recover for Huang Yuxuan, so he took Xuangrou, Xiaofei, Haoshan, and others. People left. The next day, Yang Tian found an opportunity and sent Alice again to recover Huang Yuxuan. At this point, Huang Yuxuan is no different from a normal person. Although the cancer cells in the body have not been completely eliminated, it will probably take an unknown number of years for it to relapse again. Moreover, if Huang Yuxuan maintains a healthy body and mind for a long time, the cancer may not recur in his lifetime. In the afternoon of the same day, the doctor came over for a follow-up consultation with Huang Yuxuan. He couldn't help but widen his eyes and marvel at the miracle. Incredible, really incredible. I have been practicing medicine for more than 10 years, and I have never seen anyone recover so perfectly within a day or two after chemotherapy. The doctor was very excited and stared at Huang Yuxuan and said, "Your life is really too big. Now you don't look like a cancer patient who just received chemotherapy, but a completely healthy person. You can even be discharged from the hospital now. This is a miracle in the medical field." Huang Yuxuan nodded awkwardly, he was also in disbelief. Of course, the doctor said that, but did not discharge Huang Yuxuan from the hospital. He said he would stay in the hospital for observation for a few more days. Soon, Huang Mao and the two elders came over after hearing the news, laughing heartily, and the atmosphere was peaceful. A few days later, Huang Yuxuan was discharged from the hospital smoothly, and the grievances in the past 2 years came to a successful end. Huang Mao and Huang Yuxuan are still brothers, and their relationship is better than before. The only regret is that Ziyan left without saying goodbye, so Huang Mao couldn't find her. Xiaolong, brother didn't think carefully and hurt the relationship between you and Ziyan. Huang Yuxuan sighed. Although he saved his life, it was like being reborn, but Ziyan's departure was still a thorn in his heart. He regretted it beyond measure. It's okay. Thinking about the experience of the past 2 years, I am very satisfied with the results now. Don't worry, I will definitely be able to find her, Huang Mao said with a comforting smile. The time comes to October 2131. As early as August, the Water Alliance defeated the Demon God and became the second force in the national server. In addition, the Demon God was merged into the Water Alliance. Although the demons of heaven and earth left with a group of people, Xianji and Hao Tian were still there. With the two of them joining, the Water Alliance was strengthened by more than a little. At this time, Yang Tian had reached level 110. Muddy Water, ID. Profession, Overlord of the Undead. Warzone, China. Empire, Dragon Empire. Bloodline, Goblin Spirit Bloodline. Title, Royal Commander, Bloodthirsty Demon King, Low-Key Warrior, Rich Man, Super Explorer, Heavy Price, Guardian of Cancer, Guardian of Leo, Guardian of Taurus. Due to version issues, the title of Critical Hit Master has been removed. Level 110. HP, 1.3 million, version Physical Strength Enhancement. MP, 2 million, recover 200,000 mana per second. Asterisk Magic Attack, 350,000. Asterisk Dark Power 4,400. Asterisk Absolute Critical Hit, 5 times critical hit damage. It is true that Yang Tian is level 110, and he is the highest level person in the Water Alliance, but God's left hand is now level 115, and God's right hand, God's apple, and others are all higher than Yang Tian. In fact, Yang Tian is not even in the top 10 of the national ranking list. The reason is that they spent a lot of time dealing with the Huang family before, and it is inevitable that God's left hand and others took the opportunity to widen the gap in level. It doesn't matter. We have many masters here. Compared with Zeus, they are only slightly behind in level. Sooner or later, we can beat them and reach the top of the national server. Xianji analyzed. Yang Tian Huangmao is a big boss in the Water Alliance, and Xianji came here, naturally becoming another big boss, and no one disobeyed him. Even the arrogant Sword Emperor had to restrain himself in front of Xianji.